welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with a very special guest.
Hi!
This is Natalie. In case you guys don't know her, you should definitely check out her channel. I'm putting it down below because we're filming videos together today about college, and we just filmed one. It's nice and juicy as well.
Yeah, it's
packed
all about
full of info. Today this video is kind of going to be one of my Tasha Talks videos, but it's with Natalie, so I don't know if I'm going to call it a Tasha Talks, but this is a topic that I've been meaning to do for a while because so many of you guys asked about it, and it is more personal, which is why I would kind of include it in my series. It's going to be about college hookups, and I get questions about this topic and like the hookup culture of college all the time. So I thought it would be a good video to do with another person who has gone to college.
So I just graduated from NC State University, so if any of you guys are from North Carolina, I'm from there. And yeah, I've done a ton of like college videos, and I just feel like so many people want to know about hookups and partying. Like that's like the two huge topics that people want to talk about.
Yeah, so I just asked you guys on Instagram what you guys want to know about hookups. So if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, you totally should, and you'll be kind of notified when I'm doing questions like this. So I'll put our Instagrams down below. Okay, today's video is actually sponsored by Audible, so I want to thank them so much for doing that. I think they're a super great company, especially for college students. I recently really got into audiobooks. It was never something that I listened to a lot, but everyone told me I should, and it's honestly amazing. Like whenever I'm doing laundry or just walking to class, actually at the gym I listen to them all the time. It's a great way to kind of get things done, and you're paying attention to something else, and it's entertaining, so I really like that.
Yeah, I always listen to audiobooks when I'm either in the car or walking to class, just because like I love reading, but I feel like I don't have time to read anymore.
So because this video is about college hookups, you guys might be interested in like modern dating, and I actually just read this book called Modern Romance.
I read that.
Wait, really?
Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they have it on Audible, so you guys should definitely try and listen to it. It's really interesting. Did you like it?
Yeah, no, it's so interesting. It's actually like, it's informative, but it's also really funny.
It's funny. Yeah,
it
like goes along with this topic, so you guys should definitely listen to it. Okay, so if you guys have Amazon Prime, you can get Audible for $4.95 a month for the first 3 months, which is a really good deal. And then after that, it's only $14.95 a month, which is definitely worth it. And I know a lot of people that actually listen to their books for class on Audible.
Oh,
so that's smart as well.
Life hack.
So if you guys are interested and this sounds good to you, you guys can go to audible.com/Tasha, or you can text Tasha to 500-500. So that's audible.com/Tasha, that's me, or Tasha to 500-500. Okay, so I have the questions on my phone that I got the most of and that I feel like kind of broadly go about the topic. Okay, the first question I want to answer is one that I think is really important when you're talking about hookups, and it is, what does hookup mean and what is your definition of
my god, good question. Let me know.
Okay, when I say the term hookup, I mean it can range anything from making out to sex. Like I genuinely use hookup as a super broad term and kind of an ambiguous term, and that's kind of like the point of it. If like you don't want to give information, people say, oh, we hooked up, but then it can be difficult because if I say, oh yeah, I hooked up with that guy and we like just made out, and people are thinking like we did a lot more, and that's not what I want. So like it's
some people like really think that just hookup means sex.
Yes,
like, that's it.
I know people that use it like that.
Yes, and I don't view it that way. I'm like you, like I think anywhere from making out to like all the way, you know, like it's not like a only that, you know, but some people really do. So like if you're saying it, clarify it.
I don't like how it's ambiguous, but it's definitely ambiguous for a reason.
Yeah,
and people use it that way for a reason. So yeah, there's not really a solid answer for that. I think it kind of varies on whoever you ask.
Yeah.
Okay, so by far the most common question I got was something along the lines of these. Do you think it's possible to survive college without being involved in the hookup culture, and is there a ton of pressure to hook up in college? And I definitely wanted to film this with you because you've had like a boyfriend throughout college, whereas I haven't, so I feel like it'll be a good way to kind of get both sides.
I've basically had a boyfriend all of college. Like freshman year I was dating one guy, and then we broke up, and like I had like a single summer, but like basically most of sophomore year and on, I've had like the boyfriend I have now. So for me, I wasn't like involved in hookup culture. But just because I did have a boyfriend, but I don't think I would have been involved anyways, just because that's just not who I am. Like I don't like hooking up with random people. Like that's not my thing. So that's why I wasn't involved in it, and I definitely don't think you have to be.
Yeah, I definitely thought about this earlier, and I came to really decide that other people don't pressure you to be involved. I feel like you kind of pressure yourself.
No, that is so true, yeah.
Because, like, it's definitely a thing. Like, so many people are casually doing casual hookups, and a lot of people always talk about it because they think it's, like, cool or whatever. So then it makes you feel like, oh my god, like, everyone's doing this. Should I be doing this? But no one's going to you and being like, oh, why don't you ever hook up with guys? Like,
yeah, seriously, it is all in your head. Like, if you feel pressured to, because, no one cares if you do or don't, you know?
I feel like the only time that you might feel pressured is if you do like a guy and he's like trying to make moves. Like, in that sense, I understand how there could be pressure, but it's never like in a social setting people are like looking down on you because you don't hook up with random people or don't like casually have hookups.
No, not at all. And honestly, like, people don't ask us, like, I feel like you talk about it with your friends and stuff, but like, no one else knows, you know, no one else knows your business, no one else. So like, if you're feeling pressure just because of yourself, because you feel like everyone else is doing it, so you have to, you really don't. Like, that's not something that's brought up a lot and like asked. Like, it's just talked about, like, oh, did you hear they did, or did you hear like they're hooking up, or like blah blah blah. But like, no one's like, so how many guys have you hooked up with, you know? Like, I feel like people don't really ask that.
It's just like, people like to talk about it because they think that's what everyone's doing and they want people to know. But I can 100% tell you guys that, like, I would say a good chunk of people are not partaking in like hookup culture at all.
No, I agree. I definitely had a lot of friends that like were not involved in the hookup culture, and like I wasn't involved in it, so you definitely don't have to be. But like, I also knew a lot of people that were, and it was just more talked about though. So it felt like everyone was, but if you actually sat down and thought about everyone, like it wasn't. Not everyone is. So you do not have to feel pressure to be involved in it.
Exactly. Okay, how can you tell if a guy wants something real versus just wants to hook up? Honestly, I think it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, it's obvious.
I've like obviously like hung around guys on either side of the spectrum, and it's definitely obvious. Even if they're like taking you on like little mini like dates, if they're asking you to hang out at night.
Yeah, and only at night, or if they don't make plans with you that don't involve just going to hang out at their apartment like during that night, or like, hey, let's do something during the day, or let's like hang out with my friends, or you know, like,
I think, okay, this is like the for sure way to tell, and this might be like kind of uncomfortable and like maybe not what you want to do if you're kind of like on the fence whether or not you do want like a hookup relationship, but literally just say no and say that you're not like, you don't want to go that far, or just be like, oh, like not right now. And if they don't follow up with you, or they like pull away, it's just a hookup. Like, honestly, I have done that before and I have been ghosted, and I'm like, well, at least now I know. So I do think it's pretty obvious. I guess the lines can be blurred if it's someone that you've been friends with for a while, so you like kind of hang out. But I think like for the majority of the time it's pretty obvious if they're not like introducing you to all their friends and like inviting you on dates and doing things more frequently rather than just like after 10 p.m.
Exactly. No, and also if they only talk to you when they're like drinking or when they're out, it's probably just a hookup. Like, also, I think that like what you were saying, how it's so obvious, but like in your head you're like, no, maybe he likes me. Like,
of course.
Oh, he texted me this, like he texted me like with a smiley face, like maybe he like, you know, like things like that. Like, we think of crazy things to make ourselves think that the guy actually likes us, but then show your friends, and if they're like, no, it's just a hookup, trust their judgment, because they don't have feelings involved in it, so they're not like blinded by love or whatever.
I honestly feel like if you're questioning it, it's probably just a hookup.
Exactly.
Like, you know when a guy is like actually trying and making an effort, and if you don't feel that, especially if you're in like a college like setting and you have like hooked up before potentially, maybe like red flag.
Yeah, no, seriously, it's very obvious. It's just like, do you want to see the signs?
Yeah, that's so true. Has hookup culture ever affected your self-confidence?
For me, I feel like because I've had a boyfriend, it has been different for me, because like I was never really in the whole like hooking, like I never went out and like flirted with guys, and I mean, you know, so like for me it hasn't affected it that much, but I will say sometimes you do feel pressure to be single in college. Like I have definitely felt that even in a relationship. Like I have felt like, oh gosh, like I've had a boyfriend, like I wonder what it's like to be single and to be able to like flirt with guys at bars and like go on dates and stuff like that. And that sounds bad because I have a boyfriend, and it's never gone further than just like, oh, I wonder, you know, because everyone else is single. But I was always like happier in my relationship, so obviously I wasn't like affected by it. But those thoughts do happen because you do see so many people like hooking up, or you see so many people like talking to like different guys or girls, or like going on dates with people and stuff like that. So like being in a relationship, I think it is normal to like wonder what it's like to like go to a bar in college and like meet new people and stuff like that. But I guess not any more than that. It hasn't really affected it.
Yeah, I've definitely experienced that because earlier on in college, like I just kind of said, I was like falling victim to guys who just wanted like a hookup, and I thought maybe they liked me because I was like, oh, this is just like how all college boys act. Like I think like maybe I could get them to like me.
Oh,
like,
every girl thinks that. Yeah, every girl thinks that.
And then all of a sudden, like I wouldn't do as much with them as they wanted, or they could see that that's not what I was looking for, and then they would just like ghost me, and then that made me feel really bad about myself because I would see them with like other girls afterward, and I would like compare myself. But I've come to realize now that it's not like me personally, it's just like they weren't looking for what I was looking for, and a lot of guys are just too immature to like step up to the plate and admit that and like say, hey, I think we're on different pages, so they just ghost.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've definitely felt like my self-confidence. But now that I've kind of like matured and I've gone through more of college, I realize it's like not personal. It's just like some guys want what they want, and if they don't get that, they're just gonna be like poof and disappear. How do you feel? Oh my god, my next question is, how do you deal with being ghosted after you catch feelings? I really haven't involved myself in like those casual situations with guys in a while, but if like when I had gotten ghosted in these situations, I would always just try to keep myself as busy as possible. And I think that's the same for like even getting out of relationships.
Oh yeah.
Like, trying to keep myself busy and like
distractions, hanging out with more friends, like
yeah, honestly muting them on social media. Like
yeah,
I'm not someone to unfollow people. Same. But I'll like if I don't want to see someone's stuff for a while, I'll just like mute them, and then like you don't really think about them as much. You like start doing your own thing, and I feel like that's like the same kind of thing. Just keep yourself busy and realize that if they ghost you, it's not the type of person that you would want to be with anyway.
And also I know a lot of people deal with it by like going immediately to someone else, but like you need time for yourself too. So I wouldn't just like go on to the next person. I would really just like take that time to like do your own thing and like work on your own like interests or something like that, you know? So like don't feel the need to like always be talking to someone or always like having someone like to text.
100%.
Like that's such like an unhealthy habit, and you just get like relied to on. Like I know so many girls, and like
me too,
you know, so many girls that like cannot be alone. Like they have to have another guy on backup before they like end something with this guy, or like they'll, you know, and that's just like so
it's not healthy. Like
unhealthy.
You need to have your own self and be like sure in your own self.
Yeah, you need to be fine. Like yes, it's gonna be sad and it might be hard in the beginning, but like you need to be your own person.
All right, do you think a hookup can turn into a relationship?
I mean, it's possible, but I would never go into it thinking that.
Yeah.
Like it definitely can, but I feel like more often no than yes, but yeah, don't like go into it thinking that.
Yeah, I feel like so many girls, like little freshmen me, would go into it and be like, oh my gosh, they like me, like they're definitely gonna like me, like I'll get them to like me, whatever. But like definitely like don't go into it like that, and don't assume that, because more often than not, unfortunately, like that's not probably how it's gonna turn out. But I do know a lot of people that had started off with a hookup and then end up dating a person, so yeah, it can happen. I won't say it won't, but just don't like expect it to happen.
Yeah, and you should never try to like change guys and be like, oh, I'm gonna like they're bad, like they hook up with so many girls, but like with me it will be different.
Yeah, exactly.
Like okay, maybe one day, but like the chances of that are so slim, and like you shouldn't want, I always say this, but like you should not want to change a guy. Like you should be happy with him for how he is, and just like if you're not happy with everything that he is right now, like, don't pursue it anymore, because honestly, you're just gonna end up hurt, and you're gonna realize, like, all your friends are gonna be like, well, like, we knew that from the start, you know, like, listen to your friends.
Okay, and one more. I kind of wanted to touch on this because I got a lot of like questions or just comments about it, and it's, are STDs a big thing / talked about a lot? And I just kind of wanted to like bring awareness to this, because if you do consider hooking up like all the way, sex or whatever, you definitely do need to be aware of STDs, because I know in college it is prevalent. I've definitely heard of a lot of people and know of a lot of people that have had them, and were so surprised because the person they were with said nothing about it, and then they found out that person didn't even know. So it definitely is something that you need to keep in mind if you do want to have like casual sex or sex at all, and make sure you get tested and be safe, because if it's someone you don't know, like, you don't know
exactly. I feel like I definitely think it's not talked about. Like, it's not talked about at all. Like, you're not like going home with someone random and like asking them that, but you should be if you are. You know, like, that's something that can affect your whole entire life. Yeah. So you don't want to. That is like, it's not embarrassing. Like, if you're mature enough to hook up with someone, like, you're mature enough to talk about it too. Yeah. I mean, I definitely know a lot of people that have had STDs, and you never would have guessed. I know of a lot too, and like, it's people, like, it's not just like, oh, people that are like hooking up with everyone. Like, it's some people that don't really do that often, but just one person. Yeah, exactly. All it takes. Yeah, so definitely like keep that in mind. I just wanted to kind of like end off the questions with this, because even though like I might not consider a hookup like sex, a lot of people do, and if you do plan on doing that with someone that you're not like exclusively dating, it is really important. So I completely agree. Yeah, so those were those questions. I hope this kind of cleared some things up for you guys and you all found it helpful. If you like these types of videos, please subscribe, because I like doing them, and feel free to leave any comments down below. I like reading them. Thanks for watching. Bye. Bye.